Well, we all know that left tackle is still going to be a question mark for the Washington Commanders. But will that question be answered pretty soon? Let's talk about it. And welcome back to the podcast. My name is Greg Sykes. I'm your host. And this podcast, the Washington Football Maniacs, is dedicated to news and commentary for the Washington Commanders. If you're down with that, please make sure that you subscribe to this channel. When you do, hit that notification bell so you won't miss any other video releases. Hey, a lot of us, a lot of times, have to wind up making sacrifices, especially when it comes to financial issues, because quite frankly, a lot of us are, having to struggle with all of these rising prices and gas and things like that. Makes it kind of difficult to really stick with our lifestyles. Well, I think here at Mint Mobile, they want to try to help you with that.
Look, if your family is anything like mine, you have probably at one point or another have had to make some major sacrifices. Maybe you've had an unexpected medical bill pop up, or your car breaks down. Maybe you're just trying to have some money saved up for your child's education. Well, that is why I'm so intrigued by Mint Mobile, who this video is in partnership with. They offer premium wireless starting at $15 a month. I could get high-speed data and unlimited talk and text on the nation's largest 5G network. I could even bring my phone along with my current phone number, contacts. I'm telling you, I am sacrificing absolutely nothing. Everything that you can do with your big-time cell phone service, you can do with Mint Mobile. So how hard is it to switch your service? I switched to Mint Mobile in less than 15 minutes. How did I do it? Well, it was easy. I just used my phone's eSIM card. 15 minutes later, let me tell you, you are up and running. You're making phone calls, you're using data. But Greg, my phone is a little bit older. I don't have one of them eSIM doohickeys. A doohickey. Oh, okay. Well, you don't need an eSIM doohickey. If you don't have an eSIM doohickey, Mint Mobile will send you a physical SIM card for free. That's right, for free. So if you want to save a little money on your wireless without making any sacrifices, why don't you go to my link in the description below. It is trymintmobile.com/maniacs to get started on getting premium wireless service for as low as $15 a month. And this is when you sign up for a 3-month plan. And get this, new customers, if you sign up for a Mint Mobile plan before May 31st, you will get a 6-month subscription to Paramount Plus Essential on Mint Mobile. Visit Mint Mobile today. Link will be in the description below. Now back to the podcast.
If you talk to other fans around social media, they seem like they're a lot more just sure that Brandon Coleman is going to be the left tackle for the Washington Commanders this year, which maybe he is. Right now, it seems like Cornelius Lucas might be the guy to hopefully take Charles Leno's place. I know others were talking about, why didn't we just sign Charles Leno back? Well, Charles Leno has had hip surgery, and so we don't even know how that's going to affect his NFL career moving forward, or if he's going to have an NFL career moving forward. And so that was the reason why Washington decided to move on from Charles Leno. Now, a lot of us, others of us really, we started to question, did we even attempt to make a move to solidify that left tackle position? Well, for one thing, you can't solve all the problems within the one off season. And it's funny how I've had people in the comment section to argue with me over that. Like, you absolutely can, and I don't expect this team to do any worse than a wild card berth. And if they don't get that, then you need to just scratch everything and start all over again, which is madness. I can't believe somebody actually thinks that way. If you do, you're in the minority. I could already tell you that now. You're definitely in the minority with thoughts of that. But when it comes to left tackle, of course, we did pick up Brandon Coleman. What's it going to be like with Brandon Coleman? Now, I said, he's a guard, he plays tackle. Other people said he's a tackle who plays guard. okay. He's versatile. He can play both positions. I think that was the reason why that he got drafted in the first place, was the fact that he can play both positions. So if he's not quite ready to play left tackle in the National Football League, he may be able to work himself into a guard situation. Maybe he's able to start at right tackle. Because obviously none of us really feel like Wiley is the answer at right tackle. Sorry, Wiley, but we just don't. But that was my comments earlier. I was like, if Cornelius Lucas is able to hold his own at left tackle, I think Brandon Coleman should be looked at right tackle. That would really help to maybe anchor this offensive line and make it a lot better than what it was last year. But certainly we hope that it's going to work out, that Brandon Coleman maybe winds up being the answer. But John Kim, he wrote a story on this. Who starts at left tackle? The Commanders released Charles Leno, their starting left tackle, the past 3 seasons in March, and after that, of course, he had the hip surgery. They re-signed veteran backup Cornelius Lucas, who has started 31 games for them in the past 4 years. They have another veteran backup in Trent Scott, who has started 22 games in 6 years. Adam Peters says, I don't know if it's a hole in our view. Those guys have started and have done pretty well. So then they drafted Brandon Coleman in the third round. He was considered a prospect at either guard or tackle, but the Commanders view him as the latter. One NFL offensive coach said he thought Coleman could play either guard or left tackle because of his footwork and length. Of the 32 players on the scouting combine who were considered possible tackles, 26 were taller than Coleman, but he ranked 10th in arm length. Peter would say only that Coleman would come in to compete for the starting job. We certainly think he has what it takes to be a tackle in the league. He's got the feet, he's got the speed, he's got the strength, and he's got the intelligence, and he's got the right mindset. I mean, that sounds great to me. If he has all those things and he can win that starting left tackle position, then hopefully we can finally lock down, because that's a crucial position in my mind, other than quarterback, for this offense. So now Washington has one short-term solution in Lucas and perhaps a long-term one in Coleman, but what will happen this year, and will it be good enough to protect Daniels? Coleman did not start playing football until his junior year of high school. Yeah, he was primarily played basketball. He did start for 3 years at TCU with 65% of his snaps at left tackle. His position coach, A.J. Ricker, said his best spot was left tackle. He's unbelievably strong and one of the most athletic guys I've been around and coached. Watching him gain confidence is the biggest key. He's so athletic, I think he'll be a great tackle. Now, some others had compared him to Trent Williams about his athletic ability and his diversity of being able to play guard as well. So they're hoping that maybe he'll translate into that left tackle position, just like what Trent Williams did. I will probably just kind of stress that there's Trent Williams and then there's everybody else. So I don't know if he's going to wind up being as good as Trent Williams. He probably doesn't have to be as good as Trent Williams. He's got to be solid, because we need somebody to protect that quarterback. Washington allowed 65 sacks last season, though coaches said at the time around half could be blamed on quarterback Sam Howell's inexperience. The Commanders also attempted passes on 60% of their plays. That doesn't include sacks or quarterback scrambles. With sacks, they would have attempted a pass 66% of the time. The Commanders signed a new starting center in Tyler. I am bad with names. Diaz, as well as likely new starter left guard Nick Allegretti. If the Commanders deem Coleman not ready or Lucas not a suitable starter, there aren't many options on the open market. At the league meetings, when asked if he was comfortable starting one of the veteran backups? Peters simply said, yeah. Well, I mean, that's great that Peters is comfortable, and I think that that goes a long ways because, of course, Peters is the one who's helping to build this team. But it's also, do the coaches feel comfortable about this? That's the ultimate. Um, Now, from a fan standpoint, yeah, I'm kind of like, certainly I would have felt better if there was a left tackle that was picked in the first or second round. But I think, again, this year, uh, offensive linemen were so deep with talent in this draft that you could probably get by with drafting somebody in the third round, maybe in the fourth round, and get somebody who can come in and be serviceable for you. But certainly, all of the things that have been said about Brandon Coleman, hopefully those things come to fruition. I mean, they sound great to me. I just hope that things are continue to progress for this guy, and that he does have a legitimate chance at playing at left tackle and playing well at left tackle, because we're very thin, and that's the other thing that scares me this year is the fact that we are pretty thin. I believe on the offensive line. Um, Trent Scott, certainly he was kind of the forgotten one through all of this, but um, what's going to happen? I don't know. All I know is I hope that Brandon Coleman certainly shows all of us that not only that he can play, but that he can excel. I do like the idea, if he's not quite ready, that he can come in and play guard. Um, but that does mean Cornelius Lucas would be your left tackle. It's funny, someone the other day, they were like, they came in and they were talking about Leno, and they were like, why are you being so down on Leno? I was like, look, the guy's having hip surgery. And then, it was, oh, I met Lucas. Well, I'm not down on Lucas. My thing is, I just want to make sure that he can perform well, because we don't need just a warm body at left tackle. We need somebody who is going to protect our rookie quarterback. And yes, I'm saying that because there's a pretty good chance that Jaden Daniels is going to be starting day one. So if that's the case, we need to know that there's protection up front that's going to protect him. And that's a must. We saw what happened last year, and yes, you could blame half of those sacks on Sam Howell, but the other half certainly was because of a shoddy performance by the offensive line. And so we don't need that this year. We need to make sure that this offensive line is put together good enough to protect who we hope eventually becomes our franchise quarterback. Folks, if you agree or not, it's okay. Leave me a comment, and give this video a like, share it with your other buddies. With that said, I will see you in the next podcast. Take care.